And this segment, as always, is sponsored by Cashew, our company where the best stock picks are provided to you every month. And I'm just bringing up our latest one, which we touched on last week for the few listeners that we have on the full show. You'll remember that we talked about DocuSign. That was the first free pick that I've given on our show. And DocuSign, ladies and gentlemen, I believe, just bringing it up now, bear with me, is up. We are up where are we? Yeah, we've absolutely pumped. I mean, the rest of the market's pumped as well, but DocuSign's gone up about 15% in a week. Now, for a stock, that's pretty significant. Big pump. Obviously, off the back of Trump winning, it's just reflected across the markets in general, but specific industries that have thrived since his victory have been everything to do with defense. The Cashew stock pick there in Protect America, there's a couple others, so go check them out. And the Bitcoin mining and anything to do with crypto sort of mining and in crypto infrastructure stocks have gone really, really well. Your oils, drill baby drill, has been exceptional. So I wanted to get your thoughts initially on the economic reaction to the win, and anything that's piqued your interest, Saucy, within the stock space. Because for me, I've been pretty honed in on the crypto space, so I'd like to talk a bit about that. You'd probably be best versed to talk about what you've seen within the markets, other than the big winner on the Cashew Protect America pack. So, yeah, inform the listeners, my friend.
I sit here today, Nath, not startled, but absolutely flabbergasted by the extremely strong reaction to Trump's win in the markets, crypto, as you mentioned. But my goodness, it's hard to know where to look, Nath, because all you're seeing, is just green sticks, and they're very, very steep. These things are vertical. So look, clearly there's a lot of people that think Trump is going to be a huge winner for the stock market. He's clearly the first pro-crypto president, which a lot of people are very excited about, which you'll dive into later. I know my Bitcoin portfolio is looking rather nice at this very moment. But look, Nath, we've touched on it for the last 7 weeks. It's clear that the oil players are winning. We're talking Exxon. There are some very safe blue chip stocks that are looking really good. Chevron also, I think, has responded quite nicely. And then the automobile industry is another one Trump's pushed really hard for. So I'm looking out to see GM and Ford and establishment automobile manufacturing companies like that to see how they fare in the next month or two.
Yeah,
I expect the companies that Trump has alluded to in this campaign, I think, are the ones to keep an eye on. Defense stocks, as you mentioned, I think we've talked about it a lot, but Lockheed Martin certainly are very, very well positioned to prosper. Was it Raylon? Was that the
Raytheon?
Raytheon. Sorry,
they're pretty steady. Like, they haven't received the same volatility as the specific crypto stuff and some of the other more in line with policy, the direct policy that he's mentioned. They haven't really popped as much, but
I think that's a good thing. I mean, my read on that, by the way, is the market's I think probably already factored in the obvious industries that are primed to thrive.
I think that's
But
great. Yeah, that's how to
yeah,
look at it.
I'm not sure. The market has thought about the adjacent industries,
No.
and not that defense, cybersecurity are adjacent, but they're probably not the first things you think about, just in light of the campaign messaging. So, yeah, I do think there's opportunity. I think there's a lot of opportunities, Nath. It is quite overwhelming sitting here talking to you about which stocks and which sectors are going to thrive, because I think there's a lot of green to come, and that's terrific. I think, and India, by the way, not sure you saw Modi's message to Trump in light of the victory, but it was a very it was like, my great friend Donald, I'm so thrilled that, so he's clearly he's clearly a happy man. I think the India-US relationship will strengthen. So India, I think across the board, what I'm trying to say is this won't just have ripple effects in the US. I really do think there are a lot of countries on the stock market front, at least, should be very, very happy with the 78-year-old redhead running the show. So, yeah, Nath, there's a lot to cover, but look, you've got the more important bit of this. I think crypto is the really, really exciting little segment in the markets front this week, because my goodness, it's been crazy.
It's just been wild. And we'll pop this. I don't want to even consume the full screen here with the charts. We'll get that overlaid later, but yeah, Bitcoin just smacking all-time high after all-time high. It was flirting this morning. I was watching it eagerly with 90K, and it did a bit of retracement last night. I was watching, so during the day for the US, but then it just ripped again back up towards that sort of 90K threshold. And the majority of the bigger large cap coins, like your XRPs, your Ethereums, as it stands, they're all sort of following this pattern. They're all following Bitcoin side by side right now. Bitcoin goes up, they move up proportionally. But what's super cool is the smaller cap and mid cap ones are also moving along, but not quite as rapidly. But as I've got my head around this ecosystem the last year and a half, what tends to happen is Bitcoin is already very expensive for retail, right? It's bloody $90,000 for a coin. As this keeps ascending, and it will, we're officially, in my opinion, we are in the bull run. We're at the start of the crypto bull run. Unless there's some catastrophic black swan event, economic crash, whatever, there's always a chance of that, small chance now. But we're looking at a really good, prosperous bull run, I think, for the next year, really. It's just going to keep going. What happens is once Bitcoin sort of taps out around its top, so it might double, it might get up to sort of 140K or something per coin. I don't really see it getting anywhere beyond double where it is now. It might, but not by much. So a 2x is like amazing for Bitcoin because it's already so expensive. What tends to happen towards the back end of that surge is the money then starts to come out and rotate into the smaller projects, which causes what the enthusiasts proclaim as altcoin season. And you can bundle your XRPs, your Solanas and all that sort of in it. They are pretty large cap now, but all the lower price tokens benefit off the back of the flattening of Bitcoin at the top. So you get the best of both worlds. You really sort of ride up with Bitcoin until it taps out, and then the money cycles back out of Bitcoin into the altcoins, and that's when you see these huge, disproportionate, volatile pumps. And it's already sort of happening. The last day, we're seeing some cycling of money into these smaller projects. One of my ones that I hold, which I said last week for the 12 listeners that listen, I said SUI, SUI was one that is competing with Solana for probably the highest on-chain volume in the entire crypto space. Meme coins, smart contracts, lots of different projects built on chain. Solana, that's the reason it did so well, is because it dominated that space and it got so much volume. but Sui is basically a much better version of Solana. So I can see it doing extremely well. It's still not, nowhere near priced out on any of these projects. That's what's super exciting about this for anyone listening. These projects that we're talking about, your Suis, your XRPs, your utility tokens, they're all poised for serious growth this bull run, and they're not, they're very appealing to retail buyers because they're still at attractive prices. I'm not going to give them all away because I'm going to do a little ebook, but another really interesting one that I think has huge upside is Ondo, Ondo. They're one of the leaders in the tokenization space, so tokenizing assets. I do believe that they are partners. Let me just double check this with the big boys. They are, yeah. So they're partners with BlackRock, and BlackRock, big part of what they want to do in the next few years is start to tokenize assets, tokenize real estate. Whether it's insidious or not, it doesn't matter. We're going to move down a sphere of being able to tokenize things. One really exciting point for the listeners, and maybe for you, Jack, as well, is, there's a couple of industries that are really exposed to copyright, movies and music, which are going to be omnipresent in our lives forever, really. But one of these great use cases of like tokenizing assets is tokenizing those creations, right? And they're missing out on royalties all the time. But if you put these things on the blockchain, you can manage royalties a lot better. This is something that hasn't really started happening yet, but it will happen in the future. Much like a house, right? It should be quite easy in the near future to buy portions of houses through crypto. Like you can already do that. You can buy small percentages. There's real estate investment trusts and whatnot. That's fine, but it's not as liquid or maneuverable as having something like that on the blockchain. We wake up in the morning and go, oh, sweet. That property that I've got a small chunk in has gone up 5%. I might cash that out, So your number plate idea that you floated a few, 6 months ago, I think that could be done on there as well. So there's some really exciting projects, and I just hope that people this time round dive in a bit more and educate themselves on the use cases of all these amazing technologies and just position themselves with a little bit of capital. You don't have to go crazy, but I can tell you now, if you just look at I'm going to pull up the screen here because this will give you the best visualization of where I think the whole industry is going as a whole. Share screen. We're going to go crypto total market cap here.
It's going to be a big number.
Yeah. Now, that's not right. Excluding. I don't want that. Crypto total market cap. Here we go. So we're at nearly 3 trillion, right? Now, Bitcoin's like most of that, of course, and Ethereum. But this space, to give you an understanding of where it's heading, this is probably, and this is conservative, already been estimated to be by some big wigs, around 5 trillion by the end of this year. So 5 trillion is only a week ago more than double the entire industry. I think that will happen. I think we'll hit 5 trillion before the end of the year. That means that pretty much every single project, bar donkey meme coins and shitty projects, is going to at least go between 50% to give you 50% to 100% return, in my opinion. Not every project, of course, you could do your due diligence, but the size of the market is so small. So small. This probably will be by 2030 over $100 trillion industry. Again, conservative. Once the legal clarity kicks in for this space, which again is on the top of the list for Trump, he wants crypto clarity pushed through the Senate ASAP. And I think that will happen early next year. And there is literally, I shit you not, there is probably $500 quadrillion, so $500 trillion across real estate, stocks, derivatives, everything, sitting on the sidelines right now, waiting for legal clarity. And once that legal clarity kicks, all of the institutions, all the big money is just going to flood into this space, and it will absolutely explode. And that's honestly what's going to happen, in my opinion. If you position yourself well across a variety of different assets, you can't go wrong. This is the future. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's like investing in the internet before the internet. So, food for thought. Did that ever share that screen?
It did not, but your I think your speech was compelling enough. It was. No, I look. Yeah, I think for the crypto enthusiasts, Nate, you know, like yourself, and I'm close to that camp. I do think there's huge room for optimism. What's been holding back the industry, we always talk about the tokens with actual utility and proper use cases that can actually really disrupt the way in which the world operates and the processes that define that define various industries. Once things like the SEC are on side and on board, I think Trump's relationship with Putin and Xi is also critical. I think Russia and China will possibly come back into the crypto fold, which is not insignificant at all. National Bitcoin stockpile, and as you say, all the other tokens move along. Alt season happens, yes, but if Bitcoin's rising, ultimately that means it's a very healthy market. And Nathan, I do. I think it's an exciting time to be a crypto believer and a crypto holder. And also, if you don't understand it that well, then clearly stocks, you can win in the stock market too. I think in the next 4 years, it's a really exciting time to have some exposure. I believe, and you've got a real leader pushing for things quite hard, which is certainly a change from the last 4 years. So